Hi, it's Dorothy guiding with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm participating in the YouTube hop Love's in the Air. So we are scrapbooking all about love today. I'm going to be scrapbooking about coffee and chocolate, which is something I've been consuming daily for probably 30 years. So why not document it? Obviously, that's the page you see on the screen that I'll be doing here today. You will find links to all the other participants in the description box below, so be sure to check out what they're up to as well. Here's what I'm going to be using. It's a bit of a mixed bag. I have material from Simple Stories, the Kate Nash collection. I also have paper from Jen Hadfield's The Avenue collection and a bowl full of homemade embellishments, and I'll talk about that a bit later on. So here's what I have on my desk. I matted 2 photos in advance with that black cardstock. I have this frame style foundation with 2 sheets of paper and I gutted one of them, and there is a tutorial on my channel where I do that, so I will link that up below as well. I'm showing you the paper I have on my desk, those stickers from the Kate Nash collection, and here's the bowl again of the embellishments that I will be using, and I'll explain the tools I used later on in this video. What I'm going to do right now is create my foundation page. So I'm cutting down a bunch of strips of paper and I'm putting measurements for everything I'm doing on the screen. But essentially I'm creating, it's not really a shelf, it's more of a horizontal photo border. So my photos are going to go on this layered border, as well as my journaling, some of the embellishing, and the title. And if it's not on the border, it's going to be kind of coming off this border. This is basically home base for everything on my page. Now what I'm going to do is cut myself out a planner page, which is something I've been doing a lot lately. This is a die from Elizabeth Craft Designs from her Planner Essential series. What I'm doing differently on this page, however, is cutting it out in printed paper. Usually I cut it out in white paper or lined paper. And now what I'm going to do is cut out a circular element. This is a punch from Creative Memories. You start with a 6 by 6 inch square. You punch out all 4 corners. You flip it around. You do the same thing and out pops this beautiful scalloped circle. I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to have half of it coming out the top of my border and half of it coming out from underneath the border. If you do not have a scalloped circle punch like this, you can use a doily or a circle or any kind of circular element. So now I'm showing you how I plan to place this horizontal border on the page, and you can kind of see that planner page intersects it, so it makes it a little bit more interesting, I find. And I'm also going to place those circular elements. Actually, I think I did. I just can't see them on the screen right now. Anyway, you have an idea how my photos are going to go. The largest one, the focal point, kind of tucks underneath that planner page because there's a bit of dead space in the photo, so it's no big deal. And what you see me doing now is just applying ink with a blending brush in those 2 areas where those circular elements are going to be. Because they are white on white, I wanted to add a little bit of contrast. Now what I'm going to do is adhere all of these pieces to the page, and then I will move on to the embellishing. So like I said, this is essentially a horizontal border, kind of like the shelf concept, but a wider. Actually, at this point, while I'm doing the voiceover, I don't know how wide it is, but I will write that on the screen just in case it's of interest to you. But what's important really is that it's big enough to house the focal point photo there. So there I go, adhering the planner page on top of it, and I cut myself out a piece of lined paper to put on top of it. I'm putting that smaller photo on top of it, but I do have room for my journaling underneath that I'll do later on. So now I'm just tucking in those doily pieces there, and then I'm ready to get to my embellishing. So I'm going to start by showing you this bowl of homemade embellishments. Now a lot of them I made for this, but that coffee cup that you see there, I made it a few weeks ago for another page, and I had one left over, so it was perfect for this particular layout. So I'm laying everything out just so that you can have a look at it. But what I started with was a set of stamps and dies from Stampin' Up! That I'm showing you now. It says Nothing Better Than. That's the title of it. So that's how I punched out the words coffee and chocolate. I also punched out and stamped that expression that says you make everything better, and I punched it out with other dies. Those are these stitched circle dies that I just showed you. And also I stamped out the chocolates and smaller coffee cups as well. That coffee cup there, I just showed you the dies. Like I said, I did it a few weeks ago, but it was hanging around and perfect for this project. And I just showed you 2 flower punches and 2 circle punches. Those are always on my desk. I call them my filler ins. It's like when I'm creating an embellishment cluster and I need to beef it up a bit, it's the perfect punch to use to kind of fill in the embellishment cluster. So I cut myself out a bunch of yellow and coral colored flowers. I put opposite colors in the center with a punched out circle, and you can see right now I'm just kind of tucking them around that coffee cup, beefing up that embellishment cluster. The embellishment cluster on the bottom right around that coffee cup's going to be my main one, and then I make a complementary one in that top left corner where my title is. Now I do know I want a color behind that circle there where it says you make everything better, so I'm getting out my die cutting machine and I'm just going to cut out a circle in this coral color, and in a moment you're going to see me cut out a coral colored heart as well that I end up putting on top of my coffee cup. I end up coming in later on and changing that circle to yellow. Sometimes when I'm doing my embellishment clusters, actually all the time when I'm doing my embellishment clusters, I end up making minor changes throughout because I can't really see it until I'm actually embellishing. So in this case, I'm working a lot with coral, yellow, and black in my embellishment clusters, and I end up switching up the elements a little bit just because while I'm creating it, I'm thinking, hey, this will look better here, or this will look better in yellow as opposed to coral. And it's kind of impossible to predict these things, I guess, is what I'm saying. And for me, I typically do it once things have already been adhered down. So there I go, adhering my pieces to the page. You can see I took one of the flowers, kind of cut it in half and have it lined up right against that white foundation page there. I'm popping up some of the elements. I did that with those chocolates that are in front of the coffee cup there. And I'm kind of working in that top left corner, and it's at that point that I decided I would prefer yellow as a circle. So I stopped the film, cut myself out a yellow circle because you didn't need to see me do that. I've already done it once, changed it up, and in doing so, it ended up making me change my ampersand from yellow to coral. So again, I'm just kind of fooling around here. I keep adhering things. A few of the things I ended up popping up on foam adhesive. You can see that yellow flower that was once behind my coffee cup. I ended up popping it up on foam adhesive so it sticks up on top. And now I've got out my sticker sheet and some smaller embellishments, and I just want to do some finishing touches. So I end up taking a yellow flower and adding it to that cluster in the top left, and I popped it up on foam adhesive, and now I'm having a look at that sticker sheet. So I stick the word love in that tab on that planner page, and I find this little cute pair of yellow glasses that I wanted to incorporate, so I just tucked them behind those chocolates at the bottom right. And I love that 12-inch border strip there, but I have no place to put it, so I just cut off a little bit, had it coming out to the left-hand side of that border on the left. I want something yellow there. It's almost like I want to create a visual triangle without having a huge impact. I'm not quite sure what to do, but you're going to see off camera what I ended up doing was adding one more yellow flower, and it's kind of tucked on the left-hand side of that photo on the left. And the only other thing I did besides my journaling was I rounded the corners of that white foundation page, and that's it. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be absolutely thrilled if you did. Also, be sure to check out all the other participants. Their links are in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.